Hey everybody, it's Ken here from xoxoHomegrown. You can hear the trucks here in the light manufacturing district of Inglewood. We're at 3 Weavers tonight, which is doing a benefit for the Pink Boots Society. Has opened its tap room to them, and a lot of different breweries from all over the country have donated beer. The purpose of the Pink Boots Society is to help more women get involved in brewing through education. Let's go in and see what they will tell us. I've got 4 of the women from the Pink Boots Society here in front of me. Let's start with the president. You are?
Alexandra Nowell. I'm the brewmaster at 3 Weavers, and I'm the chapter chair of the Los Angeles chapter of the Pink Boots Society. Okay, so we're basically an organization of women in the brewing industry. No matter what you do, you make less than 1% of your income from beer itself, you are eligible to be a member. But the core mission behind this organization is to raise money for scholarships. Really, it's a scholarship fund. We like to put women into positions, scholarship-wise, so education really based, to give them a foot in or a step up in their career. Because
now what are the schools that are doing beer programs? I know Davis is famous.
But we have arrangements with Siebel, the American Brewers Guild, Oregon State University. We also work with like Haas, John I. Haas, who's a hop producer. They have a hop school that happens every year in Yakima, so we'll send women to that. It just really depends on, or like the Cicerone program, if they want to do the Cicerone Beer Savvy thing. It's a notoriously low-paying industry, so to have a scholarship available for these courses that aren't that cheap is really amazing. And it's everything that I wish that I had had in the early days of my career. So to be able to perpetuate this mission is really very fulfilling.
And now it's historically low-paying, and you are sitting next to your boss, who happens to be hosting this affair tonight.
Actually,
Lynne Weaver.
we pay far above the average.
Right. Thank you.
Nice segue. I am proud of that. My name is Lynne Weaver. I'm the founder of 3 Weavers Brewing Company. We are currently hosting the Pink Boots takeover of 3 Weavers. We've invited some of our closest friends, about 20 different breweries, to come and provide some beer. A lot of them have members of the Pink Boots Society within their staff, and have encouraged them to donate some beer for our cause.
Now you're not usually open on Monday nights like this.
We are not open on Monday nights, and we're quite excited to have this lovely group of people here to enjoy these fantastic beers, and I'm proud to be a part of all of this.
And you have given up your license, I understand? How does that work?
So the way it works in the state of California is that a alcohol license manufacturer has to give up their ABC license for a nonprofit to be able to come in. Legally, we are only allowed to be able to pour our own beer manufactured on site, and for us to be able to have our friends bring their beer here for us to pour for a nonprofit, Pink Boots Society was required to pull a license so that they can pour to benefit from this event.
And you worked this out with the ABC.
Absolutely.
And was it a woman in charge of the ABC? Is it
Lori Ajax is fantastic. I love you, Lori. She made this event possible. There was a little herring moments there at the end of last week, but otherwise we are very happy that we connected with her and learned a lot. A lot of different district offices learned a lot about ABC licenses and the Type 23s and nonprofits.
And who else do we have here at the table? Who wants to go next?
Hi, I'm Frances Lopez. I'm the social media manager for Golden Road Brewing here in Atwater Village. I'm also the marketing and PR lead here at the Pink Boots Society Los Angeles chapter.
And have you been doing a lot of work with LA Beer Week too?
I have. I do the marketing and the PR for the LA Brewers Guild and LA Beer Week, and it's the 3rd day of LA Beer Week 2015. So we've been
not
pretty
everybody
busy.
knows that. I mean, not enough people know there is LA Beer Week. but I'd say 90% don't know it's being sponsored by the LA Beer Guild, which is an actual organization.
Yes, we are a nonprofit organization consisting of over 30 breweries in Los Angeles County right now.
Over 30 now.
Yep, we're at 31 exactly right now.
Okay. And how many were there? Does anybody know? Maybe Sarah knows. How many were there just 5 years ago?
0. Well, no, okay. Let's say 5 years ago in June there were 4.
Yeah.
3. Well, there were no.
Guild didn't
I was going to
exist.
say there were no members of the Brewers Guild because the Brewers Guild did not exist until last year.
Trick question.
That's a trick question.
Okay.
Trick question.
You're a cavalier, Ken.
I'm cavalier, right?
Okay, but one thing I do want to say is that I know that there's a lot of talk about women brewers and female brewers, but there's a lot of women in the Pink Boot Society that are not brewers, but that are helping out the beer community and the beer scene and the beer industry in tons of different ways. I mean, Franny's a great example. She runs social media for one of the biggest breweries in LA and also for LA Beer Week.
Sarah's a well-renowned beer writer. She's also the food editor at the LA Weekly.
Let's just brag each other
Exactly.
here.
Exactly.
So yeah, so there's bloggers, there's journalists, there's beer reps, there's bar managers, beer buyers, distributors. There's a lot.
Maltsters.
There's a lot of brewery owners that are women. A lot of people don't realize that like the first,
My boss is a woman.
yeah, the
Meg
first
Gill.
and the first 2 or 3 big breweries in LA were founded by women. You have Ladyface Ale Company and Ting over at Eagle Rock that were really seminal in making women feel comfortable in LA beer from the get-go. So I think LA is different than San Diego and San Francisco, where you have these historically male-dominated scenes that women are now coming into, and it's sort of like, oh, there's a woman, can you believe it? She's not an overweight bearded man. But in LA, that's the norm.
But she could be if she wanted to.
I
We're very
have-
progressive here. in
I'm
Los
Italian. I'm getting there.
Angeles. You never know what we're gonna get.
Just catch me.
Well, you're right, and women don't have to be brewers. Like as a Mark Jills might say, there's 5 different systems here, or it's a 5-tiered system. So you are not only in the distributors or the retailers or the production, which is the brewers, but as you say, the bloggers, the
media.
journalists, the media.
Yeah, there's a lot of roles that women can fill, and I think more so in LA than in other cities, it's been very natural from the get-go that women are incorporated. And the Pink Boot Society isn't an exclusionary thing. It's not meant to separate us and to say, here's the few women that are doing something. As Alex said, it's really just a scholarship organization and a way to support the women that are already doing things organically within LA Beer. We're not at a lack of women. I mean, of course we want more, and we'll always take more, but this isn't a city that's struggling to convince women to be a part of it.
No, and because we've also got some very important women co-owners here.
Yes.
And I don't just mean Meg at Golden Road. But
No, Lynne
Serena,
and
Ladyface.
Serena, Ladyface, Ting at Eagle Rock.
I was thinking of Ting.
Wolf Creek.
Lena, Wolf Creek.
Even I mean, people don't realize that Lena has such a big role in Beechwood.
Exactly.
Lena is the brains
She's more
behind.
than just the pickles.
And
She's
certainly
more-
Lori at Smog City.
Lori at Smog
What
City.
would Smog City
talk
be
about
on the
heart
media?
of an
Yeah.
organization.
You have a lot of women that are the brains and
And the brawn.
and the brawn behind a lot of breweries in LA, which is
One of
more-
our chapter's big victories was recently, we're a relatively new chapter compared to everyone else on National.
Pink Boot Society just turned 8 this year, but we were fortunate to have one of our members and win a scholarship to Siebel this year, Jennifer True
Oh,
at
yeah,
Monkfish. So that was something that was very exciting for us.
There's also a lot of assistant brewers.
Yeah.
I think the assistant brewers get lost too because
Yeah.
we think of all the brewmasters, and of course there's Alex, and now Devin's here at Arts District, but there's a ton of assistant brewers and apprentice brewers, women that are coming up in the brewing community and the brewing scene out here, and that's really important too.
And it's fun, and sometimes it's just as much as empowering somebody in your tasting room. A lot of bartenders and tasting room managers have decided, I want to help you grain out, or I want to help you measure hops, and then eventually they get into the brewing side of things. And I know that Tustin has, invited someone from their tasting room who was just pouring beer to come into the brew house.
That's how Jen started.
Exactly.
She was a regular.
So Sarah, I'm going to ask you a question that takes off on something you've written recently. Is LA not yet a beer city, or because we've developed slowly and allowed women in, are we maybe ahead of San Diego? And I mean, I see more bankruptcies and defaulted breweries in San Francisco and Northern California. I don't see any yet in Southern California.
I mean, give it a few years and you might see a few.
Okay.
How long do you take brewers to give up?
Well, you're right. It takes 3 or 4 years to become a bad debt.
Well,
The bubble can get pretty big.
Right, and the bubble already happened in the 90s as well, and so you saw a lot of breweries closing in the 90s, or that opened in the 90s that were closing in the early and mid 2000s, which LA had on a brew pub level, but never had on a production.
We have to get this full uniform here.
This is a fluke. This is a total coincidence.
We have another woman hanging. Does she want to be interviewed too?
No, I doubt it.
Erica.
But this is Erica Golden.
Erica! Your hair and my hair have both changed in the last 2 days.
I mean, it should be said that my beer writers are all women. Cleo and Erica and myself, all at the LA Weekly, we're all women. I think LA is respected with the people that know. It was actually interesting. I didn't really get to put this in the story, but the prompt was given to me by the editor. The prompt was said, hey, LA is not a legit beer town. Why are people talking so much shit about it? And I went around and I realized nobody's talking shit about it. I got a lot of even-keeled positive and negatives, which could be said about any beer city right now because beer is so popular. So you have this battle between business and artistry that's happening, I think, on a craft beer level across the country. So
what's really funny and coincidental was I actually, around the same time that you published that piece, I had filed a story for All About Beer about how LA is getting to become a bona fide beer town.
Crazy.
Just came out this week.
Oh,
and it was
wow.
talking about how it took us a while. We were a cocktail town, and the days of like Myers Tonic and PBR are all gone. And the history of Los Angeles beer is a little bit questionable. People can't really pinpoint where it started, where it's going. But the fact that that's on the top of my tip of tongue with consumers now.
Well, and I called Scott Blair, who's like notoriously the biggest asshole in San Diego. Like I knew he would give it to me straight. I was like, Scott and Gabe from Beachwood, you can count on them to tell their opinions. So I was like, Scott,
straight, no chasing.
Yeah, I was like, Scott, give it to me straight. Like, tell me, is LA a joke? Are we a joke? Are people laughing at us? And he said it. He's like, bang for your buck. LA has a great beer scene, and he's like, there are people that are out there for money, or there are bigger breweries that you might want to hate on or whatever because they didn't start as home brewers or something,
or they're not owned locally, for example.
Yeah, like Angel City and stuff. And so there's, and I can say these things because I'm not affiliated with the brewery. But yeah, so I got a lot of that feedback where it was like, but that's happening in every city. I mean, St. Archer, Modern Times, people have their same negative comments to say about breweries in San Diego that are of the same size and scope. So LA right now is no different than any other metropolitan area that's experiencing a craft beer boom. We've just been later to the game. So Gabe said it best, I think, in that story where it's like we're just looking at LA now because LA didn't have beer 5 years ago. So we're looking at LA now. But if you put the same level of scrutiny on San Francisco, Denver, Portland,
they've all gone through it.
San Diego, they're all going through the same shit right now.
But the amazing thing is, even though we are a little bit late in the game, the quality has not been compromised.
Oh yeah.
There doesn't seem to me to be an LA. You think about San Diego and you think about the West Coast IPA style. You're hop heavy. And maybe it's because of women in beer in Los Angeles. And I agree with you, the predominance of both women and wives of some of the brewers who have become major parts of the breweries. That we aren't, I mean, look at Henry's beer. It's the Henry went at Monkish.
Yeah, that's so true.
That's
Adriana's the hophead.
Wait, are you?
Adriana's the hophead. I didn't know that.
Please make an
I didn't know that.
Wait, are you asking why we don't have a signature style?
Yes, versus say San Diego.
Why the hell would we want to do the same thing that another city's doing, right?
I agree.
So
we're fickle. We make what we want.
Okay, so I've always thought about this. I think about beer as being an extension of LA's culture in other realms. So LA has always been a place for experimental art. Post-war art in LA has always been like throw everything at a wall and see what sticks. Ed Rocher, all that sort of stuff.
Bend the rules, bend the styles, don't stick to the book.
Yeah, and like LA has never really had a signature style, even when it comes, well, I guess architecture you could say mid-century modern, but still that was like an experiment. That was a 30-year experiment to get to that point.
Wherever you see mid-century modern, there's Art Deco just rearing its ugly head around the corner.
So LA's always been in all art forms, in film, obviously art, music. It's always just this hodgepodge, this pre-collage, this mixture of whatever anybody's doing at the time. I don't know if we'll ever settle on anything, and that's just fine, because it's not like LA's ever settled on anything.
I don't think we
can. I think it's counterintuitive to what we are as a community.
And to what LA is as a city. I agree.
These are great comments from the art scene to South Central jazz scene to the beer scene.
She and I are both music and art freaks too, so it helps to be able to draw these connections. We're not just beer geeks, but we also understand art and culture on a larger level and what it means for the city of LA. And craft beer is just another way that LA is expressing its culture. And so I don't think we'll ever settle. I'm gonna be honest. This is on TV. I don't care. San Diego doesn't have much to like hold claim to. I mean, grindcore, right? That's about it.
Which, who wants to take claim for that?
Exactly. Okay, so there isn't much to claim, so it's no.
But Armenian power violence? That's LA. I got her.
You just got political. That's awesome. All right. Anyway, I'm not talking shit on San Diego. I'm just saying.
Ill of Glendale power violence.
I'm just saying that there isn't much that they have to glom onto, so it makes sense that they would want to create an identity because LA has like 100 identities in every different realm, so it doesn't matter. Like we don't need one. There's too much else going on.
We're Hollywood. We can be anything. You know,
this is La La Land, honey.
We're the Midwest on some little street here. We're the Knots Landing. We're the South. We're whatever you film.
We can do anything, yeah. And so I don't.
We've got sushi beers.
Yeah.
We've got taco beers.
God damn, we have some weird shit here. That's true. All right. Those are my comments.
This has been very interesting, I must say. I have not interviewed any men who have been as interesting as you two, as quickly as you two.
Thank you.
I hold nothing back.
I'm empty, so
yeah. We need another beer.
Let's go. All right. We've been at 3 Weavers with the Pink Boots Society. The benefits for education. We're looking at some little maple tree in the corner. And here's Dexter filming.
What's up, everybody?
Remember, everybody, we live stream on Twitter, XOXO Homegrown, and subscribe to XOXO Homegrown on YouTube for more events like this. Bye-bye.